Welcome to the Retiring Canada podcast, where our mission is to educate and empower you to make the most informed, rational, and productive financial decisions. Hosted by certified financial planner, author, and chartered investment manager Michael Isbister, you'll go behind the scenes to uncover the tips and strategies to help you invest smarter, optimize your retirement income, and reduce the amount of tax you pay. Michael is an investment advisor with Fundamental Wealth, a trade name of Harbourfront Wealth Management, an IROC dealer. And now, here's your host, Michael Isbister.
Hello everyone, and welcome again to the Retiring Canada podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to discuss the 6 crucial steps a widow or widower needs to consider after losing their spouse. Specifically, I'm going to chat about the importance of taking things slow and making a plan, understanding the impact to your government benefits, time-sensitive tax planning considerations, the importance of an estate and beneficiary review, making a plan for your minor or adult children, and lastly, a few action items for you to consider. Let's get into it. One of the most devastating things someone could ever go through is the loss of a spouse. Whether it was a sudden loss or one that slowly manifested over time, nothing can truly prepare you to say goodbye. If this is you or someone you know, I'm sorry. I cannot imagine the feeling, and no words could take away that sorrow. I can only hope that you can find peace in God, with your family, friends, and with the memories you encapsulate and stories you share, videos you watch, pictures you admire, and experiences you hold dear. Nothing can replace your loved one, but keeping their memory alive is an amazing tribute that lasts well after their passing. If you don't have anyone to talk to, please reach out for help. Wellness Together Canada is a great resource if you're going through the loss of a spouse. You can call 1-866-585-0445, text wellness to 741-741, or visit wellnesstogether.ca to learn more about the programs that they have available. Whatever you're going through, remember that you are not alone. Once you've given yourself time to get grounded, cope with your new reality, and deal with the most pressing issues, when you are ready, it will be important to review your finances. I suggest you speak with a certified financial planner right away because they frequently are able to support you during this trying period. In most relationships, one of the spouses often bears a lot of responsibility when it comes to understanding the household's finances. If you are the spouse who wasn't as involved in the process in the past, now is the time to take control and get organized. This is where the support of a CFP will help you map out where things are, get organized, simplify, and make a plan for moving forward. I'm going to spend the next few minutes going through a number of key considerations we cover off with our clients who find themselves widowed. I don't want to muddy the waters here. The point of this discussion is to give you a broad understanding of what needs to be reviewed. However, it is our role to help you make sense of things in plain English, complete a one-page plan, and help you take action when you're ready. The first crucial step is to take things slow. Your mental health and well-being should be your first priority. As I mentioned earlier, this is a crucial first step. There's no right or wrong time period here. Everyone deals with grief differently, so take your time and do what feels right to you. Making large financial decisions during this time needs to be well thought out and not done hastily. If you do have to make an investment decision in the short term while you may still be in a state of shock, be sure to consider a liquid investment like a money market fund, high interest savings, or just leaving it in cash. Once you've had a chance to recover emotionally, you can then make a plan and consider all of the options available to you. The key here is to not lock into any sort of investment decision until you have had time to get organized and plan for the future. Next, once you're ready, it's time to get organized, simplify, and create that plan. When we create these plans for a widow or widower, we follow a two-step process. First, we get organized and simplify by creating an asset map. This is a visual representation of everything you and your deceased spouse have accumulated over the years. RRSPs, insurance, pension plans, CPP amounts, TFSAs, your home, and more. We find this visual tool very impactful when it comes to getting organized. I cannot stress how important this is for any surviving spouse, but especially for those of you who have not been the lead when it comes to your household finances. This being a podcast, it's hard to describe, so I left a link in the description to illustrate what getting organized looks like. The second step of our process is creating an easy-to-understand one-page plan with clear action items and accountability follow-up. This document brings all of the planning considerations that are discussed in this episode. If you want to learn more about the one-page plan, I encourage you to check out the episode I released on June 13, 2023 to learn more. The third crucial aspect is understanding the impact on your government benefits, specifically the Canadian Pension Plan Survivor Benefit, Orphan Benefit, and the Allowance for Survivors. If your deceased spouse or common law partner made sufficient contributions to the CPP plan, then you will receive a survivor benefit based on the amount contributed, your age at your spouse's death, and whether or not you receive CPP or CPP disability. To avoid losing some of this benefit, you should consider applying as soon as possible, as after the time of death, retroactive payments can only be made up to 11 months. Calculating the survivor pension is quite complicated, and the matter only gets trickier when you start factoring in your own pension income. There is a cap to what you can receive in survivor benefit and your own retirement benefit. So please get in touch and speak with a certified financial planner. Another benefit consideration is the allowance for survivor, which is payable to the surviving spouse assuming you are between the ages of 60 and 64, you live in Canada, you have not remarried or become common law, and your income is below a certain threshold. You must apply for this benefit. The Canadian government will not sign you up automatically. If you or someone you know is between the ages of 60 and 64, it will be worth reviewing the tax return with a professional to see if there is a benefit available. If you do qualify and have missed out on the benefit, you may be eligible for up to 11 months of retroactive benefits. The last one that I'll mention here as far as government benefits go is the orphan benefit for children under the age of 18 or under the age of 25 and are full-time students in a recognized school or university. This dependent benefit is payable through the deceased spouse participating in CPP contributions. Please visit canada.ca and navigate to public pensions to learn more. The fourth crucial step is to analyze the tax ramifications after your spouse's passing. In most cases, if the deceased spouse's estate was left primarily to you, the tax consequences are likely deferred until the time of your death. So being named as a direct beneficiary on an RRSP, for example, means the tax can be deferred until you withdraw the money. Things like the family home or cabin also qualify for this spousal rollover provision where again, there is no tax at the first spouse's passing. With that, you may want to consider consulting a professional as there are a couple of things you want to look out for. The first is if your spouse had a large, unused capital loss. You may want to consider electing out of some of the asset rollover or even including some RRSP income in an extent necessary to use up any of the remaining capital losses. By including this tax planning on the final return of the deceased spouse, there will be less tax to pay in the future. The second consideration is if your late spouse had unused RRSP room. The estate could consider making a spousal RRSP contribution to offset the tax on the final return. The representative of the estate only has 60 days at the end of the calendar year to make this election. So if passing takes place at the end of the year, there really isn't that much time to make a decision. Please consult with a tax expert or qualified CFP to see if these options are possible. The fifth crucial step is to complete an estate planning review. This process should include 3 key areas. First is to review your will. Chances are your deceased spouse was your personal representative. If this is the case, it should be changed. Be sure to take your time and choose someone who is capable of fitting this role, as they will be required to make very important decisions on your behalf after you are deceased and determine how your estate will be distributed. Generally speaking, you should choose someone who is trustworthy, organized, discreet, can handle complex scenarios, and has sufficient time to help settle your estate. Second is to review and update your power of attorney. Again, here, there's a strong chance your spouse was named in this role. Choose carefully for this role, as you would for the personal representative of your will. In the case of an enduring power of attorney, this person will be required to make financial decisions on your behalf if you're incapable of doing so yourself. The third key step of an estate planning review is to check out your beneficiary designations on your registered accounts. So things like RRSPs, TFSAs, LIRAs, pension plans, and insurance policies. Oftentimes, the surviving spouse's immediate reaction may be to name their children as the beneficiary of these accounts. However, oftentimes this choice can have a lot of unintended consequences that don't match the intent. In most cases, naming children as direct beneficiaries is not recommended, particularly if the children are minors. This is because the inheritance would be managed by a public trustee until they reach the age of majority, at which time they would receive the entire lump sum. Now, I don't know about your kids, but I can tell you that if 18-year-old Michael had received a large lump sum with minimum guidance, it would not be good. Furthermore, we all know that there are adults out there that shouldn't necessarily receive a large lump sum up front. So with all of this in general, you would be better suited to name your estate as the beneficiary and then delegate how and when the tax-paid estate would be distributed to your beneficiaries. I know there are some of you out there who may be asking, well, hey, what about probate fees to my estate? And hey, I get it. Perhaps some accounts like the TFSAs or insurance policies may make sense to be sent to the beneficiaries directly. But again, their age and financial responsibility should play a significant role in this decision. Please seek guidance from proper legal counsel before making any changes to your estate plan. Lastly, the sixth crucial step is to review your insurance policies, as many survivors lose their entitlement to the deceased spouse's medical benefits. For those whose late spouse have pension plans, you'll want to take extra care with this step. The pension plan may offer you a lump sum payment, but you need to weigh the benefit of keeping the money monthly so that the extended health benefits will remain in place. At this point, you'll also want to review your life insurance and disability policies alongside your ongoing needs for these coverages. If there's a gap between what you need and what you have, you should complete an insurance needs analysis review with a professional to help close or narrow those gaps. All right, so that takes me to the end of my 6 crucial steps for a widow or widower to take following the loss of a loved one. I hope that you or someone you know will find all this information helpful. Okay, so the action items for today's show. First off, take some time for you. It will take some time, but I promise you'll make it through the other side of this. If someone you know has lost their spouse, give them a call. Even if you don't know what to say, knowing that you're holding them in your heart can go a long way when the chips are down. Second, when you're ready, ask for help. If you weren't the lead in the household with all the financial stuff, you want to be sure you find someone who can help you get organized, make a plan, and help you move forward. Lastly, keep the memories alive. Creating a tradition is a healthy way of remembering your loved one. It can provide you and your family with a way to grieve and recognize the person's life and their impact on you while allowing you to go on living your life. All right, well, that's all for today's show. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this show, please subscribe and leave us a review in your favorite podcast app. Be sure to sign up for my weekly Retiring Canada newsletter The link to that is in the description. And hey, when it comes to your retirement, don't take chances. Make a plan so you can retire with confidence.
All comments are of a general nature and should not be relied upon as individual advice. The views and opinions expressed in this commentary may not necessarily reflect those of Harbourfront Wealth Management. While every attempt is made to ensure accuracy, facts and figures are not guaranteed. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing or tax advice. Please seek advice from your accountant regarding anything raised in the content of the podcast regarding your individual tax situation. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning.